Hey, welcome to our class of Tuesday Night Beer School with me, Chad of Chad's Beer Reviews, and Jesse from Bumpy Isms. What's going on, man?
Much how you and Chad.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on.
Vienna Lager, 7A. Overall impression, a moderate strength continental amber lager with a soft, smooth maltiness and a balanced moderate bitterness, yet finishing relatively dry. The malt flavor is clean, bready rich, and somewhat toasty, with an elegant impression derived from quality base malts and process, not specialty malts or adjuncts. And for this style, we both have Von Trapp Vienna Lager and good old Sam Adams Boston Lager. Anyways, the Sam Adams is 5% ABV, 30 IBUs. What's the Von Trapp? 5.2. Comments, a standard strength everyday beer, not a beer brewed for festivals. Many traditional examples have become sweeter and more adjunct laden, now seeming more like international amber or dark lagers. That's interesting. I bet you I think they're talking about Sam Adams when they said this or wrote that. All right, so developed in Vienna in 1841, blah, blah, blah. Characteristic ingredients, traditionally best quality Vienna malt, but can also use Pils and Munich malts. Traditional continental hops, clean German lager yeast, may use small amounts of specialty malts for color and sweetness. Style comparison, similar malt flavor as a Marzen, but lighter in intensity and body with a touch more bitterness and dryness in the balance. Lower in alcohol than Marzen or Festbier, less rich, malty, and hoppy than Czech Amber Lager. And for our vitals, so 18 to 30 IBUs and 4.7 to 5.5 ABV, SRM 9 to 15. So, it's usually amber, light brown. And it's funny, a lot of these I've never even heard of, or like I can't get. Can you get any of these where you are? Chuckanut, Devil's Backbone for Figueroa, Heavy Sea. Okay, well, Heavy Seas. That's a pretty big brand.
Yeah, we don't get heavy seas. No, I don't get any of those. I've heard of the Devil's Backbone, but and Heavy Seas, but yeah, I don't get any of those. Never had them.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna pour our beers off camera, and we'll be right back with the aroma. All right, we're back. We got our beers poured, and we always start with aroma. So let's start. We'll start with Sam Adams first. So I haven't actually had this. I mean, I've had this beer tons of times, but I haven't had it in a long time. What are you getting on aroma here?
Well, I mean, the first thing is caramel. Lots of caramel malt to butterscotch.
Yeah, I can see that. To me, it's pretty toasty. It's toasty. It has like a slight herbal, slight kind of herbal or earthy kind of hop aroma.
Yeah.
Also, my bottle is fairly old, so mine might not be quite as aromatic as yours. Yeah, so I get like toast. I definitely, even like this is quite hoppy for what it is.
Yeah.
It's not super hop smelling.
No, I'm maybe like almost like a floral honey or something out of it.
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, I can see that. It has like a little bit of like a honeysuckle kind of quality to it. Gonna top off mine a little. All right, let's try the Von Trapp.
That's I get the bready toastiness.
Yeah,
right off the rip on this.
Well, you know what I was gonna say is, like, as soon as I hold the Von Trapp up to my nose, to me it just smells like lager. Whereas like the Sam Adams has like almost like and I've said this for years, it has almost like kind of a pale ale kind of quality to it. But yeah, the Von Trapp to me just smells like lager. So like I'm smelling like that, the actual grain, I would say this is one that is more like off the aroma. I would probably put it like more grainy or crackery, whereas the Sam Adams, yeah, now that I'm really into it, is more toasty. You mentioned caramel in the Sam Adams. Are you getting that on the Von Trapp?
I'm not getting it's the Sam Adams to me seems a bit more on the sweeter side. The Von Trapp, I'm getting kind of more of that toastiness out of it with it's more bready, less sweet. It seems more bright, like the hops just seem more bright, like there may be a citrus tone or something to it.
Yeah. It's definitely a different hop character. Like this one, yeah, I mean, I think citrus would probably be inappropriate for the style, but
Mm.
I mean, maybe that's like a yeast thing, like just some kind of yeast ester, but
Yeah,
there
I
is
mean,
like a
it just
fruity.
seems brighter.
Yeah. It also, to me, even though my can is old, it actually expired a few weeks ago. I'm not really getting oxidation on it. I might on the taste. Well, let's see what the specs say for this style. Moderately intense malt aroma with toasty and malty rich accents. Floral spicy hop aroma maybe low to none. Okay. Clean lager character. Yep. A significant caramel, biscuity, or roasted aroma is inappropriate. Yeah, because you
Okay.
mentioned caramel and Sam Adams.
Yeah.
Um, it's I, I'm still trying to figure out what they mean by biscuity. Like, because when I think like, do they mean like how in England they call cookies biscuits? You know?
Yeah, I
uh,
mean, well, you do have it's part of the C20 or the not the C20, the C or the crystal caramel malts.
mhm,
You get up to a certain um SRM color or whatever they call that one for before they're mashed. But you get the
mhm.
different tones. I mean,
Yeah,
of like what it's going to give off. You know, it's lighter is going to be more towards the crackery bready. As you get
yeah,
darker, you get more towards the kind of toasty biscuit. Then you
mhm,
get cookie and all
yeah,
the way up to darker fruit type tones.
yeah. So when we're judging, we judge like how well this beer conforms to the guidelines, not
Mm.
so much how much you like it. You know,
Yeah,
so the Sam Adam. I mean, they're both there mostly. Neither is perfect.
no,
Like I think you're getting more caramel than me because your bottle is fresher. But to me, this one is pretty much right there. So on a 12-point scale for aroma, I think this is 9 or 10. I'm gonna start with a 9, but I could bump that up. What do you
Mm.
think?
I I think for the Sam Adams, I mean, it's one of those things like you said. They kind of
Mhm.
each beer can kind of have its own like it's either hit or miss, and
Right.
they may both be missing or hitting in certain aspects of it. Uh, where I'm picking up on the caramel note, which it does say, which would be kind of inappropriate on the
Mhm.
Sam Adams. I think I'd started off at an 8 because I think it does hit on other
Mhm.
aspects.
Yeah.
Uh,
8's kind of low. I think I'm gonna say to me the Von Trapp smells like more European than the Sam Adams smells more American. I'm gonna give a 10 to the Von Trapp. What do you think?
yeah, I think I'm right there with a 10 for the Von
10?
Trapp. Yeah,
Okay. All right, let's move on
I might be
to
able to bump up that
appearance. I'm
Sam Adams aroma too later.
not sure how this looks on like in real life. I would say I got the Sam Adams here. It's a little bit
Mhm.
darker and it's a little bit clearer.
Yeah, I'm not sure how your carbonation is. The
Yeah.
carbonation is it's greater in the Von Trapp over the Sam Adams.
Yeah. Does yours have haze? Because my Von Trapp, I think maybe because it's old, it's got a little haze to it.
No, mine's both of mine are very, very clear.
You're clear?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I would describe it as amber. It's definitely more amber than brown. I
Yeah.
know it kind of looks brown on camera. It's not. It's like honey, you know.
Yeah. I mean, they're kind of close. I mean, there's probably a 1 to 2 SRM difference between the two of them.
Yeah.
Um,
It gave
and
us quite a range. I think it said
amber,
8
you're
to
looking at
10 or
like
something.
the that mosquito that was caught in the in Jurassic Park.
Oh
It's
yeah,
kind of
yeah,
like golden amber
yeah.
versus like, if you get like an
Yeah.
amber lager where it's more on the reddish hue.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. I would not call this one reddish or brown. It's just straight up amber.
yeah.
Let's check the specs on that. So for appearance, light reddish amber to copper color, bright clarity, large off-white persistent head. Yeah, I mean, I guess I could see what they mean by copper. So appearance is a 3-point scale. I would give both of these a 3. I mean, I could maybe give both of them a 2 because they're not reddish to amber. They're more like amber, but
If we go with head though, to me,
yeah.
looking at the Von Trapp is holding a more consistent foam head. Just across the top. The Sam Adams is kind of dying out in the center. So
Yeah.
I mean, just to be nitpicky, because they both meet spec when it comes to the coloration and the clarity and all that stuff. But if you look at the head, for me, I mean, you can't give half points, right?
No.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'd probably be on a just to be nitpicky, I'd probably go 2 on the Boston Lager, and I'd go 3 on the Von Trapp.
Okay. I might go 2 on the Von Trapp because it's I'm gonna go 2 on the Von Trapp because it's a little hazy.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to go with what you have.
Yeah. Speaking of which, so this is the best part of the show. We get to actually drink it now. So let's start with the Sam Adams. Ready? Cheers.
Cheers.
It's much hoppier tasting than it is smelling.
Yep.
Like I said, I haven't had this one in a while. I could look it up on Untapped, but it's not quite as rich as I remember. I mean, I would definitely call it like it's fairly toasty. It's sort of Oktoberfesty. Actually, I remember this beer used to finish very bitter, like a pale ale, and now it finishes pretty malty.
It's definitely not as sweet on the palate as in the aromas. I do pick up more on that kind of toasty malt presence on the palate. Just a touch of like a kind of caramel hint, I guess, somewhere within that range of a sweetness.
Yeah, I'm not really getting caramel. I remember there was, and actually, usually when this thing warms up to like room temperature, usually it will be pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's now that I'm like really getting, I think the hops are kind of taking over. It's like very floral hops, very floral.
Yeah, I for what it is for the Vienna, I mean, I put it right there in like a moderate bitterness range. It does have a little bitter kick to it, which is nice.
Yeah,
it balances that out nicely.
Yeah, it's 30 IBUs, which is like as much as like a German Pilsner or like a hazy IPA. Yeah, it's noticeable. I get a lot of hop flavor. I get a lot of hop bitterness. Maybe because my bottle's a little old. Like to me, the malt character seems a little muted.
Yeah, these are both kind of like
sweet,
out of my area, so we get everything pretty fresh here.
Would you call this beer sweet?
It's more sweet on the aroma than it is on the palate, I think. But yeah, I think if you're drinking this if it got up to like 50 Fahrenheit, I think that you'd probably pick out more sweetness from it.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it sweet though. I mean, there's a difference between malty and sweet. Like sweet to me is like a pastry stout or something, or something that's like really poorly attenuated.
Yeah. I don't really care for sweet beers either. Yeah, I'd say it's balanced to me.
Yeah, I agree. And I would say it's quite hoppy for not only a lager, but for the style. I mean, it said the IBU range, I think, was 18 to 30, and this is 30. So it's like on the high end of the IBUs.
Yeah.
Are you getting any alcohol on here?
I'm not.
Yeah, it's pretty normal that you. I mean, it's only 5% ABV. It's.
Yeah.
Are you getting butter? Are you getting corn? Are you getting cardboard?
I'd say none of the above.
Yeah, so clean fermentation. All right, so we're moving on to the Von Trapp. Cheers again. Well, I definitely taste the oxidation on mine. It's very lemon lollipop. It's not quite as rich as the Sam Adams, which is weird because it's slightly stronger. It's 5.2.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't bring out like as much of that kind of toasty malt character as a Sam Adams was, which is weird because I was kind of picking that up in the aroma. I get like an herbal zesty, like a spicy type of hop flavor out of it too.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, herbal, I would agree with that. It's not spicy like the way like a German Pils would be. Yeah, herbaceous or like zesty, but even the bitterness, like the actual, like I'm talking about like hop. There's a difference between hop flavor and hop bitterness, and like this one is not nearly as bitter as the Sam Adams.
No,
Untappd says it's 33 IBUs.
really?
I don't know. That seems well. I mean, also my can is probably 9 months to a year old, so maybe the hops dropped out. And you said your can
to me the Sam Adams
good
seems
until
like
March or
it's more
something.
bitter. Yeah, mine's good until April.
Yeah, this one is not that. It does not seem that bitter to me. It seems like it's in the 20s or something.
Yeah, I would have said maybe like 24 to 25.
Are you getting toast or bread, cracker?
I'd say it's more on the kind of crackery to light bread.
It has a
maybe
yeah, I'd call it kind of crackery, but like the actual intensity is fairly low. But again, old can, so it does have a nice kind of almost like a honey wheat bread aftertaste. Yeah. You get that?
Yeah. I was gonna say like maybe a little bit of honey. I even like just kind of knocking the tongue back and forth a little bit. Pick up on like maybe a little bit of a doughy.
Yeah, I could see that. All right. All right, so I think we got a good idea of the flavors. So let's check the specs. All right, so for flavor, soft. I love how they use the word elegant. They use that a lot on the German lagers. Soft, elegant malt complexity is in the forefront, with a firm enough hop bitterness to provide a balanced finish. The malt flavor tends towards a rich, toasty character without significant caramel, biscuity, or roast flavors. All right, I mean, I could see that. That to me, that's describing the Sam Adams right there. Rich, toasty. I mean, it says significant caramel as like caramel is in the foreground instead of just like in the background, Yeah. I don't know. Like, would you describe the caramel as subtle or prominent?
I'd say subtle on the palate. To me, it was prominent on the aromas.
Yeah, but so I think that's acceptable.
Yeah.
Fairly dry, soft finish with both rich malt and hot bitterness present in the aftertaste. Floral, spicy, or herbal hop flavor may be low to none. Clean fermentation profile. All right, so they're right there. Although I think for me, the Sam Adams is more there.
Yeah, that reads more like what the Sam Adams is giving off, I would say.
Yeah, I would agree. Soft, elegant malt complexity, firm enough hop bitterness. I mean, I think the Sam Adams are like maybe a little over hopped, but anyway,
I think the Von Trapp comes off a bit more dry on the palate finish.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Yeah, it's and also just like the intensity of the flavor is much lower. So, the Sam Adams, to me, it's more there on the flavor than it was on the aroma. I'm gonna go pretty high on this one. I'm thinking 18. out of 20.
Yeah.
Maybe that's pretty.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a little too high. But what do you think?
No, I'd be right there with you because I was actually thinking 19, but yeah,
Okay.
18 is
18?
probably good. Yeah.
Yeah, the Von Trapp, I'm gonna go a little lower on this one. It's also my can's old, so I gotta penalize it for that. But
Yeah.
I'm thinking 15, maybe 14.
I'm gonna go be right around a 16.
16? Okay. Also, I mean, you have a fresher can, so
Yeah.
that helps there too. All right, so let's talk about mouthfeel. Let's back to the same atoms.
Can already tell you.
I mean, for a lager, it's got a lot of body.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely over medium. I don't know. Would you go as far as say medium full, or just medium?
I need to pour more.
Me too.
So I think the carbonation level is playing a little game in that too, because like with the way that it feels on the palate, it's got a smoothness to it, like this nice kind of soft like feel.
I probably put about medium body, moderate, moderate, maybe moderately high carbonation. I always call it. To me, it is more smooth than crisp. What do you think?
Yeah, I think the Sam Adams carbonation is a bit lower for me. So I'd say it's probably a moderate carbonation. It does have a smoothness to it. Yeah, medium to medium full body feel.
Okay.
Like I said, I think maybe the like lack of carbonation that I kind of get out of it adds to that because it doesn't have that lift off the tongue.
It's definitely smooth. It's not like when I think crisp, I think like adjunct lager,
like
seltzer. Yeah. All right, let's try the Von Trapp. Like right away, I definitely noticed like a lighter mouthfeel.
Yeah.
Lighter, not light like Bud Light or something like that.
Yeah.
But I also noticed like a little bit more bubbles on this one. Well, actually it's no, it's not like that. It's not super snappy. I'd probably put it like on the lower end of medium, maybe even medium light body, moderately low CO2. I would call it smooth. It's very smooth.
Yeah.
But I'd say it's probably even smoother than the Sam Adams.
You think it is?
Yeah.
It does have a smoothness to it.
It's not, I would not call, neither of these beers to me is crisp. All right, so mouthfeel, medium light to medium body with a gentle creaminess. Okay. Moderate carbonation, smooth. Yeah. So like they use the word creamy and smooth. So like even like some lagers they'll actually say has like a creamy texture or something. Like I don't know. Like even like a German Pilsner, like the foam, the froth will be creamy, but like the actual beer itself will be nice and crisp. To me, both of these are right there. Gentle creaminess, moderate, yeah. Neither of them are perfect though. I think I would give both like so it's on a 5-point scale. I would give 4.
Yeah.
For both. They're not perfect, but they're there. What do you think?
I was throwing up my 4 fingers as you were saying 4. So
Okay.
Right there.
For both?
Yeah, for both.
Okay. All right. So overall, and this is kind of like where you put your personal preference combined with how well it's conforming to the specs. So the Sam Adams, I mean, it's definitely conforming to the specs. It's also, I think a bottle fresh off the bottling line is a lot different than one that's been sitting on the store shelf for a few months,
Yeah.
But it's not a perfect example of the style. It's probably a little Americanized. I'm gonna say out of 10, I'm gonna say 7. So that's a 41, which is still really good. Anything over 40 is considered excellent. What do you think?
Now, this is your own personal specs on it and everything too? And this out of 10?
It's personal preference plus like how well you think it's.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, going by like looking at what BJCP and everything lands it as, I think it definitely hits closer than like what my personal preference was on the beer. So yeah, I'd probably land it right around that 7 out of 10.
You're gonna say 7?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I gave it a 41. You're at 39. It's an average of 40, which is still really, really good. The Von Trapp is also good, but my can is old. I feel like a 6 is too low, but a 7 is too high. But I'm gonna give it a 6, which is still a score of 37. What do you think?
Yeah, I actually like the Von Trapp. It's a bit different. It does kind of have that like herbal, like spice tone to it, to me, anyways. I think it does have that feel, that kind of almost like a Czech style Pilsner, where it dries your palate off enough that you really want to go back and drink more. I'm liking it. I would land it right at an 8.
8. Yeah, I could see that. Also, I mean, plus you have a fresher can, so I could totally see that. It's still an average score of 39. So I mean, Sam Adams is 40, Von Trapp's 39, so they're both, right there, but for different reasons. Yeah. So anyway, as I always ask Christina when she does this show with me, or whoever is judging with me, I always say, like, what did you learn in this class?
I learned that Sam Adams Boston Lager is not as bad as I thought it was.
All right, well, that wraps it up for this class. Although it's funny, this will be the first time I think ever that the beer review will come after the podcast. So check out my podcast with Bumpy, and I'll put links down there. So thanks for joining me, and I will see you back in a minute for the podcast. Even though the viewers already watched the podcast, we haven't even recorded it yet.
Oh, cheers. We got to do this again.
Yep. Cheers.
Cheers.
Somebody brewed it. Chad just reviewed it. Thanks for watching Chad's beer review.
Trust me, the next episode will be a lot better.